8:10 on the Talk of the Town, 100.7 FM WUTQ, as we continue our live broadcast at the Great New York State Fair, brought to you by Dutchtown Ace Hardware in the Dutchtown Plaza Palatine Bridge. It's Dave, Jay, and Sam, along with the former host of the show, Frank Elias, and his crew from the Utica Coffee Roasting Company. We're right in front of their display, which is in turn right in front of the main gate. As you come in through the main gate, you can't miss us.
And Dave, really, that's why we were able to get our next guest here. He came to get a cup of coffee. He didn't really come to see us.
I know.
And it is the acting fair director, Troy Waffner. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning. How are you? Utica Coffee. If you come for no other reason to the fair, come for Utica Coffee.
And I know that's why you started making your way.
Exactly right.
Well, last time I saw you, you were at Utica Coffee Roasting, so it's ironic. And the location in Back Square in Utica, of course.
Whether it's in Utica or at the fair, you know what? The coffee is some of the best in central New York.
And that's interesting. I know Troy made his way a couple weeks ago to Utica, and we were chatting, and now we make our way to his home, and that was one of the stops that he said. He said, I'll see you in Utica, and if you want, we'll go to Utica Coffee and grab a coffee. So.
Yeah. Now, are you a coffee drinker, though, or not?
You know, I've turned into an iced coffee drinker.
Okay, all right.
I love it.
Now, my wife doesn't believe in that. She believes if you're going to have coffee, it can't be flavored, and it's got to be hot. But to each his own, I say, you know, and good for you. Do you, as you drink the iced coffee here, I know at Pepsi it gives you a little wake up there. Do you sleep okay when the fair is about to come around? Have you been a little nervous? Do you get the butterflies just like an athlete does when the big game is coming up?
You know, you do. You get butterflies. There's a little bit of excitement, a little bit of anxiety. You know, but that's not why I don't sleep well. I actually sleep on the grounds for 2 weeks, so I stay in an RV, and that's the reason I don't sleep well.
Do you really? Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when you have a mattress that's about an inch thick, it's just hard.
So you're like one of those football coaches that has a cot in his office.
That's
I
right.
know Dick Vermeil was famous for that back when he coached the Philadelphia Eagles, had a cot in his office, and he was there like 24/7. You're like a football coach who can't give it up, man.
That's right. You're here 24/7, living it, breathing. I'll tell you, the best time on the fairgrounds is 2 a.m. just to drive around and see what's going on.
That's dedication right there. And we actually I brought that up early in the morning, and you know, we've been doing this for a few years, and we get to see some of the early mornings still, you know, the run around and folks still getting things ready, and then the great experience of when the gates open and folks start coming in and things change, you know.
Oh yeah, you know, I don't think people realize, you know, we have 100,000 people a day, but overnight we probably have about 6,000 people on the grounds cleaning up, we're taking care of rides, all cleaning bathrooms, all that fun stuff.
And you mentioned the grounds. How big are the grounds here at the state?
We have 375 acres.
Wow.
We park 25,000 cars, 100 buildings. It's a lot of land.
Yeah, some changes to the Great New York State Fair, too, as we continue on 100.7 FM WUTQ. I know that the grandstand is going to be kind of phased out. And is that a big change for you? And in what way is it going to be better than ever?
You know, it is a big change. It's a big, at this point, it's a big emotional change more than anything for a lot of people, but it is going to be phased out. Our paid concerts will go up to the amphitheater that the county just built.
Right.
And, you know, it's hard. For us, it became a huge money loser. I mean, financially, we just couldn't keep it going. But only 8% of the people who come to the fair go to a grandstand concert. 25% of them go to a Chevy Court concert, which is free. So really, our future is in, you know, putting bigger and bigger acts on Chevy Court and promoting those.
And you have today. I can't wait for Everclear, one of my favorite acts. They're going to be here this afternoon at Chevy Court, which is right behind us here, inside the opening gate, inside the main gate. And then Rick Springfield tonight. Hopefully he won't injure somebody with his butt.
You know, if you look at this year's lineup, from Rick Springfield tonight to Melissa Etheridge tomorrow to Snoop Dogg to
great acts.
The Jacksons. I mean, I think they're the Jacksons 2 or 3 now, but still the Jacksons.
Free shows.
All free, absolutely.
And I think I say this every year, but this year it really is an eclectic group, a total mix. So if you can't find someone that you like that's performing at the fair, then you're not a music lover at all.
I got to tell you, we have every genre, every age group, I think. Yeah, some of it by accident, but it turned out to be a great lineup.
Yeah, great weather, by the way. It's supposed to be about 70 degrees, and for those of you worried about showers, I think they're supposed to be kind of dissipating. We're not having anything right now, and it's supposed to be getting better and better throughout the day here as we get into the afternoon hours when some of those musical acts will hit the stage. Now, with regard to the grandstand, what will happen to that real estate now? What happens over in that area?
You know, that's what we're still looking at. Part of the $50 million the governor was, gave us for a capital investment was coming up with a master plan. So we're still kind of hashing through that. The plan is to release it in the next couple of weeks and kind of lay out a vision. But the final decisions of what happens, and Dirt Week is a big part of that as well. They've been here for 40 plus years, and what happens to that. But we'll be releasing that, so no real decisions have been made, no final decisions.
And I know some changes to the fairway have come about over the past few years. What can we expect with the rides this year?
Oh, this year is literally bigger than ever. They're up to 69 rides.
Wow.
It's one of the biggest midways we've ever had. They have everything. They went out and invested a lot of money in new kiddie rides, and then they're bringing in some super spectacular rides like the Mega Drop and the Observation Tower. And
wow.
It's going to be fantastic. It's still 20. You can buy all-day ride wristbands every day of the week, and it's a great deal.
Well, I read something about a portable roller coaster. Is that what I read? What's that? Explain that, please.
We have two of them. We have the largest movable roller coaster in the country.
Aren't they all movable, Troy? I don't understand. Please define that. What does that mean?
As opposed to Darien Lake, where they stay in place, this one gets picked up every couple of weeks and moved to a new location. It takes 10 or 12 tractor trailer loads.
And you haven't had that yet at the New York State Fair.
We have never had that here.
Interesting.
It's called the Comet 2. It's huge. It's just a fantastic roller coaster. Then we have the Mighty Mouse, which is a spinning coaster, which is a great coaster, too.
Do you ride the rides, by the way, or not?
God, yeah, absolutely. Any ride I can fit in, I go on.
That's interesting to see that, how we've came, and we talked about at the beginning of the show, the inception of the fair. 1841, just 10,000 folks coming in, and one of the highlights there was the plowing.
That's right.
The plowing spectating sport.
And back then, by the way, they didn't have rides. Right. I think the Ferris wheel was instituted at the World's Fair, if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago around the turn of the century, if I'm not mistaken, 1910, I think.
It
was Ferris
right around there.
Yeah,
it was right around there.
Some of the other highlights and things that folks can look forward to this year at the New York State Fair.
We're doing some new exhibits this year, and we always talk about the rides and entertainment because it's fun and sexy. Agriculture is really the heart of the New York State Fair. We have 10,000 animals that come through. No chickens this year, but thankfully the piglets are back.
Okay.
But this year we're doing a new exhibit with horses called Equine Avenue, where you can come in and you can learn about all the horses here, and it's just going to be a great new exhibit, and we're doing some fun things like that.
I know that's what the kids like. I know my son likes to see the animals and things, and that's where we spend most of our time when we come to the fair. And another great highlight that we touched on earlier this morning was the Taste Event NY, and what those folks bring to the table.
And it's true. More and more we've focused on New York State agricultural products, whether it's beer, distilled spirits, and wine, or processed products and grown products. And one of the highlights the last couple of years has been the Taste New York tent, where it's 8 different vendors a day, so 96 over the 12 days. You can taste, you can sample, you can buy, and you can buy everything from fresh produce to barbecue sauce and wing sauce and all that good stuff, cheese. It's just a great way to see what's coming out of that. And you talk about, along with that is Utica Coffee Company, a great local company. The coffee beans aren't grown here, but they're roasted here, and it's producing income in central New York.
We're talking to Troy Waffner, the acting director of the Great New York State Fair. We're live on the Talk of the Town, 100.7 FM WUTQ. What's the same about the fair? Because I know people probably try and orient themselves when they come into the fair from year to year, and they probably want to know that certain things remain the same so they can find their way around the fair.
It's amazing. One thing you never mess with at the fair is tradition. So, we still have the $1 baked potato, although we did add a sweet potato this year.
Oh.
We still have the 25-cent glass of milk.
There you go, Dave. Dave wasn't aware of the milk.
Was not.
The Rainbow Milk Bar it's famous. The best milk in the country.
Okay.
And, of course, the butter sculpture.
The butter sculpture, the sand sculpture, Gianelli sausage. You always have to eat your Gianelli sausage when you come to the fair.
Right around the corner, I think.
Absolutely, right at the Dinosaur Barbecue.
Perfect.
So, we leave the tradition alone. We want people to come back. And a lot of people they go to the same places every year.
Sure.
But then, we try to sneak some new stuff in, like the sweet potato, and sooner or later we're going to get back to strawberry milk at the milk bar, but that's going to take a little bit of doing.
Well, the acting director title, now, who do we have to get to make sure you get this job full-time, all the time? Who do we have to see? Do we have to talk to the governor today when he gets here?
He'd probably be a good place to start.
I like it. Well, Troy, you've been great with us throughout the years, and I really appreciate your availability. And going back to what we spoke of earlier, you made the rounds. I know you're in Utica, and you hit the different cities and you hit different locations to get the word out and tell folks about the New York State Fair and everything that's great here that you offer.
Let me give a little plug for something, because this year we have Utica Greens at the fair as well.
Yes.
Oh, is that a
Chicken
first too?
riggies? Absolutely. We've never had Utica Greens at the fair.
Charlie's.
Yeah,
Charlie's, yes.
absolutely.
And they have the Utica. It's a Utica thing, I
Yes,
think, is
yes.
the way they tout their truck. So
we're all looking forward
I'm
to
looking.
that.
I'm looking to try to get Detroit. My angle was to try to get these Utica Greens maybe deep fried.
Oh, we could do it.
And we could do it.
We could do
I
it.
think we're going to try that.
Very good. Have you had any food yet today? And what's the first item you can get food-wise? Is there food available right from the get-go as you walk in this morning? If you wanted breakfast, can you get breakfast? Or?
You know, there's plenty of places. I think the best place to get a breakfast is at Indian Village. It's just fantastic. And another oddity is on Indian Day or Native American Day, they actually do a full Thanksgiving dinner that day.
One of my favorite events as a young child, came every year with my parents, and I always wanted to see the Native Indian Village.
Oh, it's
just the reenactments are amazing alone.
Oh, they have smoke dancers and hoop dancers, and it's just a fantastic setup down there.
Do you have representation from all corners of New York State as well? I mean, do folks come in and set up their kiosks from virtually every town in New York State, or
we
every?
probably hit almost every county in the state, one way or the other. You know, and then we hit obviously nationwide, and in Canada, our vendors come from all over the place. So they're here, they're set up, they're selling, they're displaying.
All right. There's usually a great dog demonstration, if I'm not mistaken, with some of the law enforcement officials down here. It was Dog Day yesterday. It was National Dog Day. And I know some folks in Pittsburgh were upset because Michael Vick was signed to a Pittsburgh Steelers contract. And the dog lovers on National Dog Day were very upset about that. But where do folks, because I know there's a lot of dog lovers.
Right up at the State Police Exhibit. They actually do some great things. They do their canine demonstrations. They rappel off the towers, and they do a scuba demonstration as well.
And with that, tomorrow, Friday, admission free to any active law enforcement personnel who presents a badge and or picture ID from the law enforcement department, which they are employed. So,
absolutely.
And the bigger question, Troy, what do you do September 8th? Do you sleep in? Are you planning vacation?
It's funny. The 12 days you get this rush, so you can go on 2 hours of sleep a night. I'll tell you, September 8th, it's tough. By noon, you just want to take a nice long nap.
Yeah, it's like the guys who work in CPA work and stuff like that around April 15th, and then April 16th, they shut it down. They're off to Vegas or something like that.
I love it.
Hey, Troy, thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for stopping.
So, Troy Waffner, the acting director, soon to become full-time, no-holds-barred. We're going to talk to Governor Cuomo about that. The Great New York State Fair is our site for the Talk of the Town broadcast, and we're live on WUTQ at 100.7 FM. I tried to double our frequency there. Look how I did that. And coming up, we'll have our news block next on the Talk of the Town.